Boom.
What is up, everybody? This is Los. I'm here with Max, and we have a new Jamie, kind of like our version of Jamie. This is Nick.
What's up?
So today we're talking about in Down the Middle a bunch of great things. We're going to jump right into it because we're already kind of into it. So we're going to start with Colin Kaepernick. I haven't seen this, but it seems like both of you guys already have it. So why don't you give me a little brief intro on what happened?
Yeah, man, I'm so excited. We haven't recorded an episode, I think, in 2 weeks.
I know, I'm stoked.
And we've been hanging out because we were at, at your event and stuff. So
and I'm seeing him tomorrow for 3 more days.
Yeah, so I was just like, we got to get it.
We had to get it
busy day, but I had to squeeze in an hour because this is too much fun.
I was stressed because I was like, oh, man, I know he's going to be busy. But we made it, so I'm
And there's
glad.
so much stuff. So, yeah, man, this is wild. Like, Kaepernick has made a career out of race. I mean, like this, it sounds weird to say, right? It's like he's made a career out of racism. Like he's literally, he's just spent his entire non-NFL career just
pushing
blasting
racism.
people. And everything that's wrong with him is because of racism. Yet, ironically, at the same time he's saying that there's all this racism, he's getting millions of dollars from Nike and these Netflix specials.
Netflix.
And, like, I don't understand how you can get out there and say that the world is so unfair and so unjust and things haven't progressed at all. And listen, I'm not saying that there isn't race. I want to be very clear here.
Right.
There are still racist people. There are still things that are happening in our country and around the world that are not balanced, that are not correct, and there need to be fixed and remedied, right?
Right.
But like specifically talking about somebody like Colin Kaepernick, like literally the most privileged person in the world. You're just an athlete. You were an athlete who kind of got washed up, and then instead of just retiring like most NFL players do and move on and get a car dealership or some crap, right?
Right.
Like he decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just go hard on bridging division between our country. And this Netflix one, and like I've been like he's made, some ridiculous statements in the past, but it's like they're just statements. This Netflix documentary, I don't know how anybody could watch this of any skin color, religion, race, creed, whatever it is, and be like, this makes sense. He's comparing one of the greatest sins and atrocities in history, slavery. Literally human beings owning other human beings and doing horrible, horrible things to them. Like he's comparing that
To being a millionaire athlete.
to a 21-year-old who's getting paid $10-20 million a year to play 12 games. I'm not a big NFL person, but a few games a year basically, right? And throw a football, tackle people.
How many games is it, Nick?
17 a game.
17.
A year. Or, I mean, it's usually 16. This year they changed to 17.
Got it.
Okay, crazy.
So 17 games a year. I'm not diminishing what NFL players do, but I'm just saying.
But you're getting paid for it, bro. You're not slaves.
17 games a year. You are playing a sport that most kids dream of. Like when I was a kid, everybody, I want to be a professional baseball player, professional basketball player, professional football player, right? Kids dream. That's a dream, right? Kids want to go to space. They want to play football, right? And you're getting compensated at an insane level by the NFL, by your team, plus all the endorsement deals, plus all the other things you're going to get tertiary to that. You're a celebrity. You have millions, tens of millions of followers. You have fame. You have fortune. I don't understand how anybody could look at that and say that is, in what universe, that is the same as a 18-year-old black man 300 years ago being thrown on a boat in chains,
Whipped.
owned by another human being, not paid any money, forced to work 20 hours a day,
No food.
on a farm.
Yeah.
That is wild and honestly insulting. I don't know how people aren't insulted by that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I haven't heard like a crazy backlash.
But of course on the Dave Chappelle special, it's
Right.
everyone wants to cancel it. Yet this is equally as, I mean, this is
It's
horrible.
way worse.
Yeah, this is
Because
horrible.
a comedian's job is to be self-deprecating and make fun of every race, color, shape, and form. Like that's just that's comedy.
That was comedy. This is supposed to be serious. He actually believes what he's saying. He actually. I don't even know if he. Part of me thinks like he's just. This is all just.
He's just looking for more
money, more attention.
Works though.
It works, man. But I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. Like I don't know if that's your baseline now. Like that's how privileged we are. And this goes back to like the whole woke culture, right? Is like things are just too good. Or like you have to, things will be pretty good for people if this is what you're complaining about. If our life is so good and we're so rich and fat and shit that we like have to find things to complain about. So we're going to say, hey, you know, NFL players, they're slaves. The richest, most famous people among us are slaves. Or just all this, it makes no sense. It's people are just, they need to be angry about something.
Is this a Gen Z thing? Because it used to like not be that bad, man. Like it was not that bad. Like I was watching, I started rewatching The OC. It's like a 20-year-old show, but like I love it. And so I started watching it with my wife. And dude, like they say some stuff in that show, which I was caught off guard. I was like, what? I used to watch the show on like NBC. And they say like stuff that right now I don't even want to say it because like it would be full cancel, right? And I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, where'd it go from like just talking like a normal person to you can't say anything, right? It's insane. And I don't know if it's a Gen Z thing because they're definitely sensitive Sallies.
Definitely sensitive. And yeah, same thing with The Office. Like if you watch The Office.
Oh, God.
Right? The Diversity Day episode. Like there's some stuff on there,
that got pulled.
Diversity Day?
No way.
Some networks pulled that. Yeah.
It's horrible.
Or just little things like
if I remember correctly, anyway.
The episode where they play basketball and Steve Carell assumes that Stanley is going to be playing the game. Like it's stuff that's clearly comedy.
It's satirical.
But today would never
Oh
fly.
yeah, never.
And yeah, I don't know what's causing. I think it's I really believe it's things are too good. I think that's what happens. Like if we were living, you think about like there's a lot of people in the world right now that don't have running water, that don't know where they're going to eat today, that don't have shelter. Like once you have base needs taken care of, and then you have all the other shit we have, like we have, everyone has a supercomputer in their pocket and access to all the information and all the content, all the media ever made at any time on their 7 screens they have. And they can talk to anybody they want at any time. They can video chat. Like your life's good. It's like, I think it should almost be a requirement that everybody, you're like forced in like middle school or high school to go on like a month-long trip to a third world country. Just spend a month in, South America or Africa or India or, somewhere in Eastern Europe. Like there's so many places around the world that, go to Afghanistan, go to Iraq, go to Syria. Like they don't care the pronoun you call them because they're worried about dying, right? They're worried about getting murdered or getting kidnapped.
Yeah.
Like it's your priorities change. And when you don't have to worry about those things, it's like people still have this need to, I want to find something to complain about or find a reason why I'm not where I'm at. And I got to figure out an excuse and somebody to blame.
It's crazy though, because we obviously live in like the entrepreneur circle, and most our friends are outlandishly grateful. They're like they take everything that they do as like, wow, I still can't believe I'm doing this. You've been doing this for like 10 years, but you're still like, man. Like even I'm going on vacation because I did 3 weeks in a row of events. I'm going to your event, but I'm taking like some of that time extra to bring my whole family, right? My wife freaked out because like the tickets were expensive because I'm flying straight into Santa Ana, so I don't have to do the drive. Yep. And even then I was like, man, I'm just so happy. They were like $5,000, $6,000 for tickets. I don't care. But like, I still reflect on like, man, like what a blessing that like we can do this, that like this is so amazing. Most people are just like pissed that they're going, pissed that they're flying, pissed at everything. Like everyone's just upset. It's like I think that's a huge thing. It's all psychological. Like no one, for me, like I'm always, I write, I have a little day one journal. It's called like an app. And I write every day, whatever it is, just little things, because it helps you, like, because you and I can probably be assholes too, like, oh man, like we didn't hit 100K today, or we didn't do this. I'm like, it gets to you a little bit sometimes. Yep. And then you're like, hey, dude, you go home and like you see your family and you're like, oh, who cares? Like we're fine. Everything's good. Yeah,
I think it's important to reflect on that. Like we were talking about it, Larissa and I, I spoke at ASW, and then we took a anniversary trip in Vegas for a few days, and we were out and we were shopping, and bought her a new a bag at Louis Vuitton, and and I got back to the hotel and she got me an amazing new David Yurman ring, so we were exchanging gifts and stuff. And like, we're so lucky, right? Like I think back, like I always want more now. We always want more because the baseline keeps increasing.
Yeah.
But 5 years ago, we didn't know how we were like. going to pay for basic things.
Yeah.
Right? We were living, basically paycheck to paycheck. It wasn't that long ago.
Right.
I brought my car in for service one day. They had to replace, because it was a lease, they had to replace all the tires. And I didn't have the amount. It was like $2,000. And I remember saying to the guy, like, what if I don't have the amount? Like, can you do a payment plan? He's like, no. Right. So I had to max out a credit card to pay for it. And so I reflect on that all the time. Like, I'm just having the base things, not having to worry about, I can go to dinner or lunch and just afford food. I can go to the grocery store, $200 and like get groceries. Like, I'm happy. I'm lucky. Right. If I lose the fancy things and stuff, I don't care. I'm I'll be a bit bummed about it. Right. It's fun. Right. But like
it's not necessary.
Everyone in this country, everyone living today in the first world is so much more better off. This is the best time to be alive in history, right? Like 100 years ago, 200 years ago, the richest person, their lifestyle was way worse than, low income in America today.
Bro, $20 an hour to work at McDonald's. What the fuck are you complaining about?
Well, let's talk about that, because and I know we have like a list of stuff, but there's this crazy mismatch happening now where there's so many job openings and so many people looking for work, but they're not filling the job openings. And it seems to be, this goes back to just like people keep increasing their expectations of what they want. It's people got spoiled by COVID in the work sense, right? Because they got to work from home. And everyone realized this is pretty awesome. I can work from home. I can, pajamas all day, and I don't have to go into the office. I don't have to work. I don't have to talk to somebody face to face. And people want that forever now. But employees are like, well, you can't be a bartender and work at home, right? Like, there are certain jobs where you need to be in person. And it's unfortunate, because I get it. Like, people want more, and they want better working conditions, and they want to be able to have more flexible hours and all this stuff. But at the same time, if those jobs don't exist, you can't just sit out, right? You can't just sit out forever and then get angry because the employers aren't changing their jobs to fit your wants. Yeah. That's not the way it works. If you want to do that, right? The reason I get to say at 1 p.m. I'm going to drive over and hang out with Los and we're going to talk on a podcast instead of having to be in an office is because I spent a decade not making money and living paycheck to paycheck and being borderline homeless because I wanted to build something that I owned. And now I have the luxury of doing that. Yeah. So everyone has the opportunity to do that. If you want to go take a decade of risk, go do that. But if you want the safety and security of a paycheck and a good paycheck, like, you don't get to dictate the terms of that's not the way it works, right? That's not the way the world works.
But people have it really twisted, though, because people think like, we were born millionaires. Every millionaire is just born millionaire. It was an accident. Your dad's rich or some crazy shit like that. We're the worst people in the world, man. Like, we had no money, and then you have money, and then you spent it wrong because you just didn't know what to do with money, and then you have more money, and then you're like, hey, man, like, this is really hard for me, so I'm going to have some people, and then all your money goes to people, and now you have no money again, then you got to start managing payroll, and this whole thing lasts about a decade, and so you're like, okay, I've caught up with, like, my money, I know how to do this operational thing, I can manage these cash flow books, like, I know what a profit and loss is, cool, now I'm going to save, and then most people stick there because they don't know how to make money, save money, and increase wealth. So it's all in an account depreciating. They don't know what to do, whatever. So that's like phase 2 of entrepreneurship. And then lasts forever. And like, even to this day, like, you and I are learning. We're still like, oh man, we can do this now. We can do this. Because now we have like 10 years of experience. There was 10,000 hours, But everyone's like, oh, rich people or whatever people, like, you do this and this. And like, it's easy for you. Like, bro, it's way harder for me than it was for you. I just like wasn't okay with my circumstances continuing to be that way. I wanted them to change, and I was willing to do it. And I had years where I made $8,000. You know what I mean? Like, no money. I just basically lived in the shittiest place ever, and that's it. I had 1 year, my first year in business, I made like $20,000. I bought a car, and I got rent for the entire year, like prepaid, and I got my first little like $8,000 Mercedes. I had no other expenses, but I had made no other money. Yeah. Like, I was done, dude. I was like driving over to my friends' houses to eat still. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's two groups of people, right? There's people who they're in a shitty place, and they just say, this is unfair and this sucks. And instead of trying to find a solution,
you just complain.
They just stay there and yell and complain. And then there's people that are in the same situation who say, this sucks, this isn't fair, but I'm not going to stay here.
I know I can change.
I'm going to figure something out.
Right.
Right. There's a way. Everyone has access to starting a business today. Everyone has access to doing a gig. There's so many opportunities today.
Way more than when we even started.
Way more.
Right.
Way more. Right. Like when I first started, the whole idea of like, starting an e-commerce, like that was a new thing. Starting a funnel, like being an influencer, like all this stuff is new, or even just like gigs, right?
Right.
Doing like, and it's not glamorous, but
you can do a lot of Fiverr gigs.
You can do Instacart, you can do Fiverr, right? There's a lot of ways that if you want to make your own hours and
task
be your own
rabbit.
boss, go out there and do tasks. And while you're doing that, do your side hustle. Start figuring out like, I had this really cool store I want to start on Amazon. I want to start a Shopify store. I want to start doing. Hell, dude, like one of the easiest ways to get to 10K a month, service business, agency.
Right.
Like get really good at TikTok, get really good at social media on the paid side, on the marketing side. Go out there, fucking start knocking on doors, local businesses. Hey, $1,500, $2,000 a month. I'll manage all your social media. I'll manage all your TikTok. I'll grow your following here. 5, 6 of those businesses, all of a sudden you're doing pretty well.
I think that's coming back. Like back when we were starting, like doing the small, make $10,000 a month vibe was like, whoa, I can make 10K a month. Then I don't know why, but it became like, if you don't do 7 figures, like what the fuck, dude? But like we went from 10K to 7 figures. I think it's going back down to 10K because people don't want that job and they don't want that responsibility. So they're like, I just want to stick with like about 6K net after I do my whole thing and make 72, 78, but like work Thursdays and Fridays and whatever.
And that should be fine for a lot of people. Like
most people.
The problem is once you hit 10K a month,
it's not enough.
It's not enough. But if you're making 10K a month, especially in a state like Florida with no state income tax, like you're doing way better than pretty much everybody. You're
pretty much upper middle class, right?
Definitely. Yeah. Especially if it's just you. Like, obviously, if you have kids and stuff, that's a little different. But if it's just you, like that's amazing. Yeah. That's great. And it's not that hard to get there. Again, if you're doing, $1,500, $2K a month retainers for marketing or social media stuff, like that's 4 or 5 clients.
Yeah. Very easy to maintain. 1 or 2 person team, just a couple assistants.
But again, everyone wants to just
get it for free. Just give it to me.
And it sucks to talk about this because I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying that there aren't people who have it way harder than other people. Right. I think that there is clearly a difference between somebody that's born in, inner city Chicago and to a single family, right, and doesn't have any role models and doesn't have any access to good education. And like,
bro, those aren't even the people that are complaining. It's like white single women.
That's the irony.
It's weird.
The irony is like the most vocal people right now when it comes to income inequality, when it comes to, institutional racism, when it comes to any of this stuff, is not the actual people.
It's like upper middle class white people.
It's
fucking weird.
People living in Seattle and San Francisco that are living great lives, that are tweeting from their iPhone, their brand new iPhones on their new MacBooks, which are made by basically Chinese slave labor. Yeah. Right? It's like
that choose to live in a city that's $100,000 to live in when you could live in Poughkeepsie for or you could live where like Ashton lives, right? Like in Tennessee, some upper part of Tennessee, a mansion was like $300,000. Yeah,
it's wild, man. I don't know. I don't know if we're at a point where it's like there's no return. Like it just seems like the last few years,
it seems like it's only going to get darker.
Stuff has just spiraled and spiraled and spiraled, and it used to be like that was a crazy person, like. Those people, like, they have a voice and they're talking, but, like, everyone knows they're kind of crazy. And now it's, like, the media's behind it. And Hollywood's behind it. And Washington's behind it. And so now it's, like, it's almost flipped. It's almost like you're the crazy person if you believe in hard work and the American dream. And, like, things that used to be, like, the standard way of thinking that everyone just agreed, like, this is the way people should live their lives is now crazy.
Right.
You guys are missing the opportunity, though. You know how many white chicks I can invite over to watch the Kaepernick documentary, though?
That is very true.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you're a single guy, I guess that's the move now. It's not a puppy; it's the Kaepernick documentary.
Yeah. Single, racially ambiguous dude. You can run your numbers up. Like, trust.
Yeah. All you got to do is like watch documentaries about slavery and.
Hey, you want to come? I got some kombucha and some Kaepernick.
Yeah, we can meditate after this.
We can listen to Sean King.
Yeah. So let's talk about Travis Scott and the unfortunate situation that happened at his event. A few people died through the mosh pit and stuff like that. One of the big things, because everyone's like, oh, it's Travis Scott's fault. The dude's a performer. Come on. I mean, it's Live Nation's fault. It's also your fault, and I'll say this, and I'm probably going to get blasted, but, like, it's your fault, mom, who had a 14-year-old boy there and, like, dropped him off. Are you kidding me, dude? I have an 11-year-old daughter. When she's 16, she's not going to a fucking Travis Scott concert by herself. I'll literally go with her. I can stand over here. You're not going by yourself at 14, bro. You're crazy. Like, and a lot of those kids were like young kids. Also, real talk, my kid's not listening to Travis Scott at 14. Like, that's too intense.
Yeah, again, this goes back to like the culture change, right? It's like nothing is bad. Like kids should be seeing, pornography and listening to whatever they want. Like it's this weird thing where it's now like it's okay, and we actually encourage like our middle school. You're hearing about all the stories like middle schoolers learning about like crazy sex stuff in middle school. And listen, I'm not the like conservative religious person over here. I'd like to consider myself pretty open down the middle person, but at some point it's like
that's worse than being conservative, by the way. In the media's eyes. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Even worse.
Well, because it's worse to be, at least if you're a conservative, they know like there's like you believe this, you're conservative, like we have no chance of you voting for us or doing our thing. If you're like a moderate and independent and not on their side, it's like you've chosen your side. Like you're that swing vote and you're now evil because you're swinging one way. But yeah, I agree with you, man. Like there's no way when like 13, 14 years old is going to a 50,000 person festival with rap artists and stuff. Like, what's going to happen there. Like, we're all old enough, we've been to concerts, we've been around the block.
Yeah.
There's drinking, there's drugs, there's a lot of crazy shit happening. And like right now, especially, it's like just the times, like we're living in more volatile times than ever. There's more tension. People are more worked up than ever before. So yeah, I agree. I think, again, this goes back to blaming people.
But everyone's blaming Travis, and now Drake. He was just a special performer. Jesus, the guy just got asked, probably got paid a little to go sing a song with Travis, and it was like it's their fault. Like, who created the venue? What's the layout look like? They were underserved on workers. Again, going back to your first point of like no one wants to work, so they had a lack of people there actually helping on the barriers and stuff. But really, it's a lot of like also parents. I would blame myself.
Yeah.
Right. If this happened to me, I obviously never want anything to happen like that to anybody. But there's no way I wouldn't blame Travis fucking Scott. I'd be my fault. I'm an irresponsible dad. I didn't go with them. I didn't say no. Like none of that, bro. Like no one's taking any kind of responsibility for what happened to them. Like also, I mean, we've gone to festivals. You choose to go in the darkest section of the center. I'm out here. I'm all the way over there, bro. Like I'm in corners.
The very thought of standing, I wouldn't even
crazy.
Go. We went and saw at the House of Blues a few weeks ago. Fall Out Boy, Newfound Glory.
Oh, nice.
They were there. Less Than Jake, like a bunch of bands from our teens. And even House of Blues, it's small, and there's like a little area of maybe like if it's like 200 people that stand. I'm not going down there.
No,
we went upstairs.
Yeah, I go
to the couch area and sat there on the couch like old
chilled.
people, and just listened to the music.
Yeah.
And so again, it goes back to like this always talking about this shit. It never comes off right, so it always sounds bad and like you're an evil person. But at the end of the day, everybody makes decisions, and those decisions are you're constantly calculating risk reward. It's I'm going to do this, there's a risk, right? Every day we all make decisions. We cross the street, risky. We decide to text. I mean, I guarantee you, every person listening to this podcast and every person that's probably going to complain about this at some point has made the conscious choice while they're driving on a highway to pull their phone out, look at it, so they can see a tweet. That is a fucking crazy risk, right? And so, unfortunately, sometimes the trade-off is that there's an outcome happens that's bad. And so again, if you're dropping your 14-year-old off at a massive festival where kids are doing drugs, drinking, going crazy.
Age range, by the way.
Big age range. Yeah, grown men, grown women there. Like this is a kid basically. And then the kid decides, I'm going to go as far deep into this 50,000 person
Because it's the coolest, newest thing to me.
Because that's what all my friends are saying to do. It's, there's a risk there. And this isn't the first time this has happened. This happens pretty frequently at these big, you put 50,000 people drunk and high in a area and then have the biggest artists in the world come out and get them excited. Like, stuff happens. And so yeah, the bigger question should be like, should we even have like these setups? Like, this setup in and of itself is incredibly dangerous. You corralled all these people in there. Like, why were there fences around? Like, why wasn't it able to just flow in any direction, right? If people wanted to leave, they should be able to go in any direction.
That's how Coachella is. Like, Coachella is massive. And so you can, I like to, obviously I'm older, but I like to do VIP for 2 reasons. Bathrooms, and then just easy of like being by myself, right? And I know not everyone can do that, but like Coachella and a lot of the bigger festivals, they have pockets of like, all right, this is your crazy little circle. Everyone else kind of like goes over here, like stands in water and stuff. Like they don't want the smoke. That's like the full, more kid, aggressive type stuff, or the super effed up, high, crazy guy that's just like down to do whatever.
Yeah,
I heard people are sticking people with needles in too,
which is fucking crazy. That's literally I saw this article. It was
How'd you get in with needles?
I was like, it's the article was needle spiking may have been happening. I was like, what the fuck is needle spiking? And then I read it. So anybody that's listening that doesn't know what needle spiking is, it's the equivalent of like spiking somebody's drink, but instead of doing that, you take a needle with like fentanyl or ketamine and just inject somebody. You walk by them and just poke them. Like, the fact that that's a thing is fucking
How do you not
terrifying.
notice though? If you stick a needle in me, I'm gonna go like, whoa.
I don't know. I mean, it happened with one of the security guards. He got injected in the neck.
In the neck?
In the neck. He
Like
got
a
injected.
Cartoon?
So I guess, I mean, but think about it. If you're in these massive like mosh pits,
Yeah, I get
you're
it.
being touched all over the place. You get a little poke, like you don't think much of it. Maybe, ow. But maybe you thought somebody pinched you, somebody, fucking punched you. bit you.
Damn, that's just so malicious.
But I don't
dude.
know how, like, again, going back to parental responsibility, if once Quinn's that age, you can bet that I am doing hours of research on what's happening in parties nowadays.
Oh, bro.
I'm doing my research, and I'm going to find that there's something called needle spiking happening. And I'm saying there's zero chance that you're going to this festival, right, where there's the threat that somebody could inject you with fentanyl while you're just trying to listen to music. Or you can go, but we're going to go together, and we're going to stand we're going to get a seat area, and we're going to sit there, and you can have friends come over, and you can hang out and do fun stuff, but like, it needs to be supervised.
Dude, that's the only reason I want to get a bigger house. Like, I don't want my kids going to, like, your house is fine, but like no one else. Like, I don't want my kids going anywhere. I don't know anymore, and I don't trust. So I'm just gonna have the house where you can come here. We're gonna have all this supervised stuff.
That's what we
Parents
did.
can come hang out, do all the things.
So again, I give my parents a lot of, and I hope I don't actually get them in trouble by saying this, but I went to a boarding high school, and I was one of the few day students because we lived around the corner.
Yeah.
So most of my friends lived there, and so junior, senior year, we had all the parties, homecoming, prom, all that stuff, and my parents were smart and said, "Hey, listen, we're not idiots and think that 17-year-olds aren't going to go drink. We
Right.
know it's going to happen, right? What we'd rather do is have our kid and his friends do it in our house.
Yeah.
So the kids come over, they drop their keys off, everyone stays there for the night. We'll get everything. We'll make sure people aren't bringing in crazy things to
Right.
drink and stuff. And it's controlled. And so then you have, 16, 17-year-olds drinking a few beers in a safe environment in our basement, hanging out. And we never had an issue for 2 years.
That's
and
what
my
I
sister,
did.
same thing. We never had an issue, never had a problem. Nobody ever got injured. There was no accidents.
You love the parents. You respect the house because
Everyone
of it.
respected
Like,
it. My parents did breakfast the next
Totally.
day. Everyone loved it. Everyone respected our rules.
no one wants to screw your parents over because like you open the door to them,
Yeah.
to all the kids, and so like everyone loved your parents, and so like they're super nice. When you're the opposite, well, now you don't like the parents and you're hiding it. I'd rather be open and just kind of like the same exact model. Like we did this growing up, same thing, and it was just better.
Yeah. Final thing I'll say about the Travis Scott thing. Let's transition to something I think is interesting. One is I think the main reason why it's obviously people don't want to take responsibility, but it's also money.
Yeah,
My kid got injured or died. So what am I going to do? Well, Travis Scott and the Jenners and Kardashians and Live Nation, they're going to settle with all these parents. So everyone's going to file lawsuits against them. All these parties are going to settle, and they're going to settle for millions and millions of dollars for each one of these people. And that's that, right? That's why they're doing it. It's whenever these things happen, it's, I need to sue. I guarantee you, as soon as it happened and names got released, a bunch of vulture law firms reached out to the families. Said, hey, we're doing a class action, or hey, we'll do this, for free. We'll split the earnings with you. We're going to sue Live Nation. We're going to sue Travis Scott. We're going to sue the company that did the security contracting. We're going to find every party that has a nickel, and we're going to sue them because we have a litigious society, and none are going to go to court. They're all going to settle, and everyone's going to make, a few $1 million, and that's that. And nothing's going to change, and it's not going to make anything better because your kid's still dead. Yeah. Right? Because you let them go to a 50,000 person rager unattended. Right. At 14, 13. I mean, it's just wild. But so we were talking and brought up something when I said, we used to have supervised kind of parties. Yeah. What do you think about the idea of basically just, because we're seeing more and more of these fentanyl overdoses, because drugs are still coming in. They're coming in record numbers, and kids and adults and people are still going to use drugs, and they have no clue what they're getting. Right. The idea of just making, decriminalizing all drugs.
I think it's fine. I mean, I think, bro, I went to my buddy invited me to another event here in Orlando. I went to hang out with him. Everyone just was talking about mushrooms and acid and drugs. And I was like, Jesus, everyone's really, the older you get, I'm like, man, everyone's really into this. You know what I mean? But then you have kids and the whole thing. I think it's the same with weed, man. Make it a business, but make it tested. I don't smoke weed, not against that. It just freaks me out. We've talked about it before. But if I did, much happier going to a MedMen, being like, hey, what do you got? This is a real company. Here's what's in it. You're good. Okay, cool. Take it. I think it would make everything better, less death. There's more money now in the business. I mean, recreational drugs are crazy, but there's ketamine clinics that are popping up because ketamine's actually good for you.
MDMA also.
Right. And so they're all really good for PTSD. There's all these shaman things with acid or ayahuasca or whatever the case. Dude, make them businesses. Why not?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think the amount of money you'd save from just getting rid of the DEA essentially, and then the money you'd make from taxation is massive.
I mean, you'd make bank taxing, bro.
Yeah, screw on taxing unrealized gains, which is a whole nother crazy, stupid fucking thing we can talk about. Yeah. But, just it's a war on drugs. It hasn't worked. It's amazing. If the government's the only organization in the world that continues to invest in things that lose. Or any business, right? If you're Facebook, right, and you were investing $1 billion every year into a project, and that project just lost more and more money every year and didn't get results, do you think Zuckerberg for 30 years would keep the budgets come in? We need another $1 billion a year for Project X. Hasn't Project X failed every single year? Yeah, but we need actually $2 billion this year.
Well, that's interesting because I mean, really, what we need is somebody that can come in, and I guess kind of Donald Trump is like that, but kind of not. An entrepreneur should run the country and run it like a business. I think I've always thought that is how plans and budgets and goals should be done. Not just a random 69-year-old, 75-year-old that shits his pants and just does crazy words and whatever, or anybody in general. No one really has, everyone's always really old. Barely do they have business acumen. They have political acumen from just that's what they had to do to get in here, right? But that's it. That's not that impressive to me. You know how to shake hands and kiss babies. You're not skilled at something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you basically spent an entire career being
lobbying,
corrupt, being a corrupt asshole, and screwing people over. I mean, that's not just
that's how you get there.
That's all parties. Right. If you're a career politician, Republican, Democrat, the only way you stay in office,
you cut corners to make your spot stay. That's just how it works.
Yeah, that's how it works. But yeah, I mean, so just to recap the drug thing. Yeah, I agree. I think it's
look at Holland.
Yeah, Portugal's done it. A lot of countries have done it. Switzerland's done it.
Switzerland does it too?
Switzerland actually...
Switzerland has no beef. It's like
They
perfect.
went farther than decriminalization. I think they legalized it for a bit, where like you could just go to a fucking safe house, shoot up crack, and then... Or no, shoot up heroin. Yeah, that's what you do. And then just bounce. Because the rule was you had to do the drug in the house. They like brought you to a room. They gave you clean heroin. And like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think... So think about this, right? Like, I'm not... Whatever. We're going to get shit for saying this, but like... I think that's a good idea because you're like systemizing the process. But instead, they're like, hey, how about petty theft? That's fine. Just do petty theft. Come back with a backpack and steal shit. If it's not over this, you guys can just walk away.
Yeah, it makes no sense. What the fuck? Yeah, California, it's Walgreens, all these places are
people
closing.
People are just literally coming in, stealing in front of you, and walking out.
Yeah, they're counting. They have a calculator to make sure they're under. Yeah, so that's okay, but it's not. But yeah, the drug thing, I think what people need to realize is most people, and again, this is a generalization, it's not everybody, but most people do things, especially kids, because it's wrong. Right? That's why DARE doesn't work. Because when you tell kids, don't do drugs,
they go do them.
Right?
They all wear the DARE shirts.
You had kids, I have a 1-year-old home, like, when you try to say, don't do that, like, they do like, that exact thing.
Yeah.
Don't touch this. The first thing to do is touch it.
Yeah.
Please don't touch this, right? But then you give him something. We do this all the time now. He wants the remote. He grabs the remote all the time. So what we started doing is, we bought another remote. It's like a fake remote and put it down there. Doesn't want it because he knows he can have that remote, right? That's not the thing.
Right.
And so with drugs and drinking, right? When you're 14, 15 and you go house parties, you're like, this is wrong. I can get caught, right? I'm drinking. That's why people do it.
It's usually disgusting when you first drink. You're like, what the hell is this?
You're like, why does everyone like doing this? Right. And so I think it's the same thing with drugs. It's like, this is wrong. And I want to try it because it's wrong. And so if you make everything just as easy as going to the store and buying, Coca-Cola, right? I think you get far
You make it
fewer
unsexy.
People.
I don't need it.
Yeah. You're still going to get people that are going to do it, and you're still going to get addiction. Right? I'm not saying you're not going to get that. But I feel
you're going to get it either way.
They're going to get it either way. So what you need to do if you're the government is you need to say, okay, this is going to happen either way. So what we need to do is make sure that, one, we can make money off of it. So, from a taxation perspective. 2, we can control the quality. So we reduce overdoses. And so people aren't injecting heroin or snorting cocaine and getting fentanyl in there and dying instantly, which is happening all the time right now. And 3, so we can cut down on the horrific gang violence happening. Like that's the big one, right? Is like the reason why these gangs are flourishing in Mexico, South America is because they're like $1 trillion companies now combined with drugs.
They're full empires.
So if you have the option, if you're if you want to do cocaine and you have the option to
get it at the
driving
hotel.
to a sketchy parking lot, paying $50 to buy a gram of whatever it could be whatever in there from a person potentially getting arrested, or, Uber Eatsing, a gram from, Cocaine Shack or whatever you call it, right? Drug Co. And it's, it's 100% pure. It's tested. It's going to be, it is what it is. It costs less. Those gangs, they have no more income, right? If you just cut off, that's the thing is the war on drugs and fighting these gangs. You're not going to send soldiers down there and beat them, right? It's like, just stop buying their product, cut off their money. You cut off the money, there's no power.
It'll probably be like it is with the weed people that like were, criminal drug guys, and then they started like legit smoke shops. Just became business owners
because it's easier. Yeah. Why would I keep doing this and risk going to jail for my life when I can just do it legitimately, pay taxes on it, and make sure the quality's there? Yeah. Like it's a no-brainer. Yeah, and then you focus. The last thing is you focus on treatment. So you take a big chunk of the money that you're saving from fighting this and stigmatizing drug use. Say, hey, if you get addicted, just like we do with alcoholics and just like we do with people that are addicted to nicotine, we're going to give you resources and we're going to have, we'll do free detox. We'll do free rehab, right? Just make it a government program. So if you decide I got a problem and I want to get off this, you can go to a clinic and they'll detox you. They'll put you in rehab. They'll give you, 12 steps, all that stuff, and they'll do it all for free. That seems to be the most logical thing to do. But I doubt it's ever going to happen because it's no way any politician pitches that, at least currently.
Not nationwide. I think states will continue. Like Denver just allowed mushrooms. So psilocybin's a cool thing over there now. They already got weed, psilocybin. I'm sure next is like, hey guys, coke's cool. Yeah. And like, I don't know, crack or whatever. I don't know if they'll do crack and heroin, but I don't even know what's in crack or heroin. But yeah, I'm sure, you know, little by little, probably Florida will be mushrooms next, and well, weed first, and then mushrooms and all that. Kind of like all these like more open states.
That's what I mean. Honestly, somebody needs to give Joe Biden some crack or cocaine or something. That dude needs. He fell asleep in the. He was sitting in that like COP that big climate meeting, world leaders, and like an aide had to come over and like wake him up because he like nodded off during the presentation.
Bro, I've never seen, you know, you see the Trump stuff, he's pissed off, he's like tweeting, yeah. I've never seen this guy speak full sentences. Like, I don't know if it almost seems like they're jokes. Like, you see all the memes and like, he really is like, well, and then what you do is with the cars, and if you think about it, when the colors are green.
And the thing.
Yeah, that's how we're going to be a nation.
Yeah, come on, man.
It's like, what the fuck are you saying?
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
And then he just gets angry. If you ask him a question, he gets
real angry.
Real angry, real fast. He just like snaps.
Just walks away too. He's like,
just leaves, doesn't ask questions.
Yeah.
And listen, like Trump was he was a terrible speaker on the other side because he just said crazy shit all the time. But it's like, I forget who I was talking to the other day about this. Like
full sentences.
Trump versus Biden. It's like whether you hate Trump or love Trump or just, you know, or just I don't really have an opinion about Trump. At least you knew that like when he went into a room with a world leader, he might say some crazy shit, but at least he's going to be like he's going to come up with energy. He's going to be passionate about it. Like he's going to push for his position and
he knows what he's talking about.
He's going to push for it hard.
Yeah.
With Biden, like, I can't imagine him in a room with world leaders. Like there's no way he's negotiating with authority and power.
No.
There's no way. He's like, again, before we started the show, I said there's 2 fact checks in the last week on Biden, like from a fact check organization. It's about, did he fart in front of the royal family or did he shit his pants in front of the Pope? Like that's the stuff that people are covering with Biden. Like
did he do both?
So this is hysterical. So Snoops, I forget how you pronounce it.
Snops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Snopes, yeah. So the shitting in front of the Pope, it's verified as false. They said it's false because there's no first party evidence to support it, which I think is hysterical.
Fair.
That this is like a legitimate organization. Somebody had to sit down and say, today you need to verify whether Biden shitting his pants is a true story. And they're like, this is where we're at right now?
That's someone's job.
It was like the other, a few weeks ago, it was like, did we, abandon, U.S. citizens in Afghanistan? And now I'm talking about, did he crap his pants? And then the other one is whether he farted in front of the royal family. And it's unverifiable. It's like the middle one. It's not like false or true. It's like unsubstantiated or still to be decided because it's one of the royal family members has been telling everyone about it, and she was there.
Oh, shit.
So it's her story against, basically.
Well, technically, what if he shit his pants and that's what you were smelling?
He could.
With the royal family.
Yeah, you don't know. It's
you don't know. But I mean, if I believe that anyone's going to shit their pants, it's probably him. Like, I would buy that. You're like, hey.
Yeah, and not just because he's Joe Biden, because he's a 79-year-old man.
Yeah, like, I mean, it has nothing with him to do with the president. My man just looks like he needs a nap.
Yeah.
And diapers.
Yeah, it's wild to think that he's going to be in his 80s.
I don't know if 3 more years, like, I don't know if he'll make it.
There's
like,
no way.
He's so old and senile.
And like, people are turning on him. It's not just
aggressively, bro.
Yeah.
He is down, like, I mean, I don't care what people say. It's just my opinion. 199% we're getting a Republican president and a
Guaranteed.
Full Republican House.
Yep,
like, it is happening 100% when it moves forward. Like, that's just done right now, today, sealed.
Yeah. And the irony is, like, this is what's, like, interesting about politicians is, again, just their ego.
Right.
Is they see real world things happening in data, and instead of acknowledging that, like, this is happening and it's happening because of the obvious reason, it's like, it was a fluke. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. Like, that's what the Democrats are doing. It's like, we just lost Virginia and almost lost New Jersey. Phil Murphy in New Jersey almost lost the governorship to a dude nobody knew, like, unknown, totally unknown guy, like, just a random dude, basically, almost beat him in a crazy blue state. And the Democrats keep doing the same thing. So maybe they should say, like,
they're going to get smoked.
Maybe there's a reason why these historically deep blue states are flipping red is because we're printing money and inflation's out of control, and we're saying inflation's not out of control, we're lying to them. And
gas
because
is 50% higher right now.
Have you guys seen the turn from the corporate press? A lot of people are now saying, well, here's why inflation's actually good. Like, they're not running from the fact that inflation's happening.
Why inflation is good.
But there are articles popping up saying, here's why inflation is good.
And why would that be?
I don't know. I got so much of a migraine looking at it, I just scrolled past.
Yeah.
But that's the play, right?
Yeah.
The play is
Trick them.
You deny.
Yeah.
You deny it's happening, Then you blame other people, and then you try to change the narrative completely and make the bad thing good because you know it's not going away. And that's what happened with inflation. For months, most people have been saying, smart people have been saying, this is not transitory. This is going to be here to stay. And the Fed said, no, transitory. Now they're saying, actually, this is here to stay. And this is, sorry guys, we didn't foresee this happening. It's like, bullshit, you didn't foresee this happening.
I think the next 3 years, it's weird, man, because like it's just two worlds. Like there's this world that like I see that all this stuff is happening, and then there's this other world where like the rich are just getting outlandishly richer, the medium rich are getting more. Like we see opportunities. This is like to the demise of the world. I mean, I understand inflation. It's not going to kill us. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
Inflation's great for the wealthy because inflation allows you. So if you have debt, right? If you leverage debt, which is what most rich people do for real estate, it allows you to basically repay that debt with dollars that are worth less, right? So inflation is great for the wealthy in that capacity. It hurts the poor because they got to pay more for milk and eggs and gas.
Right. And so like a $10 sandwich is now $13. I don't give a shit. Normal people, that is extremely painful. Gas being 50% more, a turkey going from $31 to $56. If you can
get one.
Even with a turkey shortage. Yeah, it's just the gap is just becoming so separated, right? Like I just don't know if the gap is going to, definitely not in the next 3 years. I don't see this. I just see this going up more. And then when we get a Republican president, I think this is going to go even higher. Like I almost feel like we're going to be a third world country kind of vibe. Like there's rich and there's poor. There is no middle.
Yeah. Well, and the irony too is that it's, obviously the gap gets bigger under Republicans because it's just, capitalism. That's what they push. The irony though is like the Democrats push, we got to tax the rich are evil, all this stuff. But so many other policies make the rich richer. Like the entire COVID response made Jeff Bezos more wealthy. Right? Like you shut down the entire country and you've terrified everyone for 2 years to go outside and to go to their local bar or their local restaurant or their local store, and you basically scare the shit out of people.
Local small businesses.
To force them. So now everyone stays at home, and guess what they do now? They buy everything on Amazon. They're on social media all the time. They're watching stuff at home because they're not going to the movie theaters. Guess what happens? That makes the handful of people that own those companies way fucking richer. And it makes the middle income people that are business owners, local business owners, way
or broke, or have to shut down.
Yeah,
what was
bankrupt.
What was the stat? I think it was like a third of the money in the economy today in America was printed
in the last 2 years.
Yeah, in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
the last 10 months.
It was something
ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
And they're about to print another $2 trillion.
Yeah.
Yeah, the money supply increase has been
the level of inflation we're not even close to the level of inflation
because it's a delay.
Right.
It takes a while to catch up and money to circulate into the economy, be spent. But the terrifying thing is that this is an actual economic theory that some people in Washington believe. It's called modern monetary theory. And essentially the idea is that you can print as much money as possible and spend until there's full employment. So until unemployment is 0%, you can keep doing this because then once you get to 0%, the increase in production and innovation will offset that. It's never been tested before. It's a theory, and it's an stupid theory, and it's gonna backfire horribly.
Also, having a 0% unemployment rate
doesn't happen.
Look at it right now; like it's not gonna happen.
It doesn't happen, and it's wild. And even like this whole unrealized gain tax.
That's the most stupidest.
It's stupid, but again, go back to hypocrisy, and this is why I despise DC on pretty much both parties. Is not because of like you can believe what you want to believe. I'll respect anybody if they actually believe something and they fight for it and they push for it, even if I totally disagree with it, right? Like Bernie Sanders, I 100% disagree with everything that dude believes, financially, economically, right? But I respect the fact that he has been that way since day one, and he hasn't swayed. He believes in socialism, and he's pushed for it since day one. And so I disagree with it, but I respect that he hasn't changed and compromised and sold out. So many politicians right now are saying one thing and doing another. So for example, a lot of the main Democrats in this unrealized gain tax, they're all pushing saying the rich need to pay more. The rich need to pay more. The rich are evil. The rich don't pay for the fair share. At the same time they're saying that, they're sneaking into the bill some are trying to get rid of it, others trying to increase it, the SALT deduction, right? So the SALT deduction basically allows you to deduct your state taxes from your federal taxes, right? So if you live in California, Jersey, New York, where you pay a high state income tax, you basically get double taxed. But if you use the SALT deduction, you can basically take what you pay for state income taxes, and that's a deduction. So your total income's lower when you do the federal percent, right?
Yeah.
So that's, it's a benefit. But it doesn't benefit poor people or middle-class people. Guess who it benefits by increasing that?
Rich people.
Rich people. And guess who benefits most from SALT taxes? Rich people in blue states. Because guess what? In Florida, we don't have state income tax. In Texas, you don't have it. In a lot of these states, you don't have state income taxes, or it's very, very low. So the only states where it really impacts people is California, New York, New Jersey. So that increase, they want to go from, I think, 10,000 to 80,000, is going to cost about $300 billion. So it's a $300 billion tax break just to the rich. So people see this. People aren't idiots, right? So they see this and say, hey, you're saying that the rich don't pay their fair share and they're evil. Why are you giving the rich in Democratic states a $300 billion tax break? Explain it. And they can't. They can't explain it. The reason it is because they give us money. That's our donors. Our donors are the Goldman Sachs bankers and the people on Wall Street. And guess what they want? They want to pay less in taxes. So they're not evil because they're on our team. Mm-hmm. But if you're a billionaire or a millionaire in Florida, you're an evil asshole, and you need to pay a lot more. It's crazy.
Even though the most inefficient spending group in the world is government. Like the amount of money that government spends in an hour could not be equaled by anybody.
It's because they're not running a business. They're just lollygagging like, oh, that sounds good. Or they're building bills based off corporate bullshit.
And here's what they need to do. So we talked about this, the idea of the unrealized gain tax, which again, it's unconstitutional. There's no way it goes through and gets held up. It's crazy. And especially it's like, it doesn't work if you're a private company, because if you're like a 22-year-old who started a company out of college and now it's worth $10-20 billion, you own half of it, you're technically worth $5-10 billion. You don't have $5 billion, right? You maybe pay yourself $1 million, $2 million a year. Maybe you have $5-10 million saved up. Right. You're going to owe $40 million, in taxes on what? You can't sell the stock as a private company. So it really, Elon Musk and those people, they can sell covered calls. They can do stuff to basically pay the tax. I think what you need to do is the reason Elon Musk and a lot of people now are pushing back and saying this is a terrible idea. I don't want to, I'm going to figure out ways to not pay these taxes essentially, is because they believe, like you said, the government is spending their money inefficiently.
Right.
I think most people, if you ask most people, there's obviously libertarians who think taxation's theft, but most people I think understand I got to pay taxes, right? We live in this country. There's a lot of benefits. We have highways. We have infrastructure. It costs money. So we pay for that. It's how the money's spent that's the problem. So
that's everyone's real problem.
What you should do if you were smart, if you're the president, if you're a Congress senator, is you say, hey, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, all these hedge fund guys, the billionaires, we want money from you. Come to DC. Let's bring the 500 richest Americans to DC for this mastermind, this symposium, right? They're going to have. And let's sit down and let's discuss things that they think are important to invest money in. Mm-hmm. And let's come up with a plan collaboratively of how we can make America better, how we can make it more advanced, how we can benefit more people. And then say, hey, we want all of you to pay 10% into it. I guarantee you, if you approach it that way, you'd get a lot more people that are saying, okay, I'm okay with this because I believe my voice is being heard. I have somewhat of a control on how the money is being spent. Because look, like Bill Gates, they spend massive chunks of their fortune through the foundation. So it's not that they're not willing to spend money on causes.
They just want to make sure they
want to know where it's going.
It's like the Elon Musk tweet where someone was like, hey, you can end world hunger. And he was like, yeah, I'll give $6 billion, with $6 billion alone, you can just do it. He's like, yeah, I'll do it right now. But Open the books. Let me know where the money's going. Let me see how it's being handled, and I'll give you the money if you're willing to do that. And no replies.
Of course, because somebody needs to take that $6 billion and turn that money into solving world hunger.
Yeah.
Right.
Without stealing.
Without
paying yourself $12 million as a CEO salary.
Without doing what they do in California and the homelessness, where the people running the departments that are supposed to cure and solve homelessness are making 6 figures a year.
Right.
And it's getting worse every year, which is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You shouldn't be making a 6-figure a year salary fixing being a public servant, essentially fixing homelessness.
And making
you have
it worse.
hundreds of thousands of people that are homeless in your city.
Right.
It's wild, man. It's totally
I don't know.
wild.
There's this concept that I find confusing that, everybody knows somebody close to them who will take more than they're supposed to if they can get away with it. Most the overwhelming majority of human beings will take more if they think they can get away with it.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, as soon as it comes to government leaders and people on your side, you're like, no, of course they wouldn't do that. Like, what? When did that principle of basic human psychology just go out the window? Like, one of my friends always tells me, like, oh, communism works. It just hasn't been tried yet. And I'm like, have you, like, if you had like a basketball coach and they're like, hey guys, we're going to run this system. I've been a coach for 40 years. I've tried it every year, but it never actually works. But we're just going to keep trying it. You'd be like, you're a fucking insane person.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be my coach.
Yeah. Trade me, please.
Right.
Right. And so the idea that, if we can just be idealistic and everybody can get along, but human beings aren't inherently selfish, just makes absolutely no sense to me.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the idea that, everybody will work for the common good and accept that I work way harder than these people. We make the same money because that's the way the economy's been set up, is just ignorant of how human beings operate. You're right. I mean, it's like if you put, and they've done studies on this all the time. They've done with children, they've done with adults. Like you put somebody alone in a room and you put a basket of money in front of them and say, hey, just take $10 and leave, but there's $1,000 in there, and the next person needs $10. So, but nobody's watching you, right? There's nobody watching you. You can do whatever you want, but just this, please do this. You're gonna have a lot of people taking more than $10.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Some people that are like, okay, I'm gonna do the right thing, but that's a minority. Most people are just selfish, and that's how we've evolved. That's how we've survived as a species, is by focusing on our survival, right? And that's for better or for worse, that's who we are as human beings. We focus on ourselves first, and that's why on airplanes, when
you gotta go
it's
first.
going down, it's put the mask on yourself first, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's you look out for number one. And so the idea that like somehow that's gonna change with a different structure of economy, and everyone all of a sudden is gonna be out for the common good, the common man, is wild. That makes no sense.
Everyone's just gonna move into the metaverse.
Yeah.
That's a story for another topic. How are we on time?
57:28.
Yeah. I got a call in 3 minutes, so we can wrap it. Let's do the metaverse next.
We'll do the metaverse next. We are heading out tomorrow for the Founders Mastermind, which is Max and Jeremy's mastermind. If you guys are interested in that group, where can they go?
Foundersmastermind.com.
Foundersmastermind.com. For myself and Max, guys, thank you guys for listening. Please subscribe and share this. We really love doing this, but we'd love it even more if more people listened. So share it, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Talk to you soon.